Okay, this is Rad Ron's Radical Rides, and it is a beautiful, sunny Monday morning, but it's a little brisk. It's a little shady. So I'm taking advantage of the solar pass warmth that we have today, aka too cheap to turn on the heat to paint inside. So got the sun shining on these. We prepped it just like it's a paint booth, and got a little bit of primer. These are the fenders that I did for the the El Blanco, the step side. I scrapped the last set. We did a lot of work on them. I kept working on them. And the hardest thing for me, and I'm sure there's some guys out there that can do better, but to get this original line perfect, if it's been rusted out, you ding it, it's hard to get. And some of those pros or those guys at shows come up and they'll feel that edge and tell if it's been bonded or not. So I found a set that was really decent. All that was original, no metal fab in here, so it's all good real steel. So we took, and it's hard these days to find passenger side fenders that aren't rusted out. Driver side, I got 5 driver side, but the passenger side, so I found a set that was together and I got them. And I spent probably, I'll say not all last week, but a few days on. I got them 90% done. I fixed the dents, pulled things out, but then after you paint it or prime it, you see the little dents that you're missing. So right now my goal was to get it 95% flat before I put my first primer on it. And then now after the primer, we'll block sand, fill in the little divots and get it straight. But I did a few things on this, and you notice this here, it is hard to get, sand inside of all this little stuff, all those little nooks and crevices. And a 50-year-old thing, there's a lot of, it's been painted multiple times. But luckily this is only painted, I think it was twice, because we had 2 different reds on there. But so what I did is I sandblasted all this, all down through here, sandblasted all the little details to get down that ridge, that line, to get all the extra paint out of there and get that sandblasted. But I didn't sandblast the outside because I didn't want any warping. We actually sanded it with our DA, to get it nice and smooth. And if there was any low spots, I used the old paint as kind of like a build coat, our guide coat. So this is only things that I had to fix on this, and typically these are shot on the passenger side. Everything's gone. So this one was rusted a little bit, but I fabricated this. I put a little bit of steel behind it, welded it in, and then fiberglass and taped it off the original side there, so it looks like that's the way it's always been, So if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't know that this was not the original. So again, same thing here. I put a little bracket on the back side of that. I welded it in. And then I taped off the old original that wasn't rusted, and then fiberglass over my welds, and then sanded that. So again, you're never going to see that. That's going to be pinched in with the fender. You're never going to see it, but if the rust was there, the rust will grow and it'll eventually come out. So basically what I did is I cut out all the bad, I put new steel behind it, and then welded that in, and then I fiberglassed over that to kind of blend it in, so it was all good. So this is what we like to do. It takes a little extra time, but it is what it is, because if I try and shortcut it and just sand and then throw some paint on it, it'll come back to bite me. So I'd rather take the extra time, make these look good. So we're gonna put another coat of primer on here, let it sit, and then we're gonna start block sanding and find all the little divots and holes that we didn't see when it was on bare metal. So beautiful edges, beautiful lines, everything's come together. And you can still see on the first, I don't know if you can see it with that, you can see where there's a little bit of Bondo underneath it that I skim coated one of the dents, and you see the little spots now. So that's why we got to prime it. We're going to do a second coat on it, sand it down, and then our seal coat will seal it so you won't be able to see any of that, and then we'll get a good paint on there. So hey, this is Rad Ron's. This is a beautiful Monday, and you see my best worker back there, C70. She's hard at it. So hey, you guys be blessed. Have a great day. Remember, me and mine, there's only one way.